It's been 2 weeks since the Fantastic Four movie dropped, and I'm here to talk about what I felt watching it, a quick analysis, and how this film might actually save the MCU in this new phase. This video is just me being real with y'all. I seriously love the new Fantastic Four. For real, it's so good. It's the kind of movie that hits for everyone. Comic book fans, MCU fans, and even the general audience. And in my opinion, that's the mission of any comic book adaptation, to connect with people. This film will absolutely have a positive public reception. And that's great because we're coming off the hype of Deadpool and Wolverine. We had Thunderbolts last year, and now Fantastic Four. Marvel Studios is finally being recognized again for making good superhero movies. Even Kevin Feige himself admitted in a recent interview that the quality of the MCU dropped in phases 4 and 5. And he said it cost Marvel something major, the prestige it had back in the golden era of Avengers. And honestly, I feel like this movie is a turning point. It feels like a comeback to that golden era of epic superhero movies. I think people will watch this and say, damn, this is actually fire. Making the Fantastic Four debut in an alternate universe was a genius move. It let them tell a story that anyone could enjoy without watching a single Marvel movie. My mom came with me and she understood everything. She loved it. You don't need to watch any previous Marvel movie to enjoy this. It totally stands on its own. It's a natural, smooth introduction, no boring origin stories explaining how hero X or Y got their powers. We're past that phase now, especially with classic heroes like the Fantastic Four. And instead of wasting time on origin drama, they focused on paying tribute to the original while introducing the team to a new audience without treating us like we're dumb. Also, because it takes place in a parallel universe, they were able to go all in on a unique aesthetic and world building. That retro-futuristic vibe, full of 1960s style tech, is such a cool tribute to the Fantastic Four comics from that era. The entire art direction is a masterpiece. Costumes, hair, sets, everything. Style. Let's talk about style. First of all, this is not your typical Marvel formula movie. It's not packed with action and jokes every 5 seconds. This movie has a totally different rhythm. I saw a few people saying they fell asleep during the movie. Honestly, it's not the film's fault. I think they just expected a fast-paced, non-stop explosion type of thing, and that's not what this is. This movie is a bit deeper. It focuses more on dialogue, and yes, the dialogues are actually great. It leans more into drama and sci-fi while still being a superhero film. And honestly, those have always been the two core traits of the Fantastic Four: drama and science fiction. The script takes its time to build the characters, the world, the relationships. It's not in a rush. The pacing is intentional. And yeah, that might be a turnoff for some people, but for me, it worked perfectly. The team dynamic is exactly like in the comics. That's why there are long scenes without action, because a lot of key stuff happens inside the Baxter building. Reed and Sue are about to have a kid, so you've got all that family drama and the scientific stuff in the lab that drives the plot forward. You start to understand Reed's discoveries, the mysteries he's solving, and how each member of the team contributes, not just to each other, but to the world. This is a movie that breathes Fantastic Four. They bring that optimistic energy from the 60s, a whole community vibe of people working together for the greater good. And the retro-futuristic aesthetic, it's everywhere. The movie takes its time to show it off. You get long scenes in the kitchen where the characters are just talking, but it pulls you into the world. Everything is different. How the cabinets open, how the light switches work, the design of every little object, even a pregnancy test. It's all retro-futuristic and beautifully done. Huge props to the art direction team. This movie feels like Marvel saying, "We heard you." No more lazy CGI, no more magical nanotech making things pop out of nowhere. It's all about practical effects, strong visual identity, and thoughtful design. It's exactly what the fans have been asking for, and they finally delivered. All right, let's talk about the characters and the actors, starting with him, Johnny. Human Torch. In my opinion, everyone owes Joseph Quinn a massive apology.
So many people trashed the casting choice, but the guy delivered the best live-action Johnny Storm we've ever had, period. Obviously, the script helped too. Chris Evans was an awesome Human Torch, mostly thanks to his insane charisma. He nailed it. Iconic, for sure. But let's be real, that version of Johnny was super individualistic, super egotistical. He was shallow, just a one-dimensional frat boy jock stereotype who only cared about chasing girls. And that's not what Johnny really is. Comic book Johnny? Yeah, he flirts, but he's also way more emotional. He falls in love easily, even with aliens. And that's exactly the Johnny Storm we got in this movie. I loved it. And I really liked how they gave him an academic background in the film. Making Johnny an engineer makes total sense. In the comics, even as a teen, he was always fixing cars and gear. So giving him that mechanical engineering vibe in the movie, spot on. Also, this film nailed the Johnny and Ben Grimm relationship. They mess with each other, sure, but not in a toxic way like the last version. It's just that regular bro-to-bro banter. And there's a balance too. They clown each other, but you also see them vibing and having fun together. Super solid dynamic. Invisible Woman. Sue is the emotional lead of the film. She's pregnant, and for the first time in live action, we get Franklin Richards, the son of Reed and Sue. That's why the movie is called First Steps. The whole story revolves around their baby. This is Sue Storm's movie as a mom. And just like in the comics, her pregnancy becomes a media spectacle all over the world. Sue kind of takes on this public figure role, giving interviews, facing social pressure, speaking for the team. She knows how to be the face of the Fantastic Four. And that just makes sense because this isn't a rookie version of the team. They're experienced. They've been around. They're not starting out. They're seasoned heroes. And Sue being the mom of the group fits perfectly. With more focus on her, Vanessa Kirby totally steals the show. She's got charisma, presence, and her performance stays true to Sue's classic role as the emotional heart of the team. The script treats her as a strong, central character, not like in the older movies where she was underused and weak. Here, she's powerful. She owns it. The Thing. Man, I loved this version of Ben Grimm. I honestly think this is the definitive version of The Thing. His look, his personality, everything. They finally got that real New York vibe right, like that true guy from the block energy. And yes, they actually recreated the whole Yancey Street in the movie. That was dope. There's even a chase scene where he's flying the Fantasticar, one of the best moments in the film. They nailed the fact that he's a skilled pilot, and they also brought up his Jewish background, which is super important and adds depth to who he is. All those little details, you can tell they were made with love. That's why I didn't even mind that he didn't have much action. This movie's more about drama and sci-fi anyway, but when it was time for him to go full beast mode, he did. He straight up fought the Silver Surfer hand-to-hand, knocked down buildings, he handled business. Mr. Fantastic. I was seriously impressed with Pedro Pascal in this movie. I'm not gonna lie, I was kinda worried. He's everywhere right now, doing interviews, showing up in memes, social media, dropping in every movie and series. I thought I'd just see Pedro Pascal instead of Reed Richards. But nah, the man pulled it off. He sold the role hard. He's the brain of the team. Whenever the Fantastic Four needs answers, he's the one they turn to. Some people said he didn't feel like the leader type, but I totally disagree. He had that rational, low-key, intense energy that's so Reed. A scientist who thinks ahead, who worries about consequences, ethics, the big picture. Like I said, this movie is part drama, part science fiction. Every character plays into both those elements, but if Sue is the heart of the drama, Reed is 100% the core of the science, and the script nailed that. The whole team felt balanced, and the chemistry was real. Both the Silver Surfer and Galactus are super intimidating in the movie, but to me, the Silver Surfer stole the whole thing way more than Galactus did. Talking about her, yes, her, the scenes with the Silver Surfer are absolutely insane. She's unstoppable. The Fantastic Four are literally in panic mode trying to escape her. Julia Garner went off. There was a lot of talk about her casting, especially her being a woman in the role, but honestly, it didn't bother me at all. I bought into it. It's a different universe. It worked. She's a great narrative mirror to Sue. Both are moms, both trying to protect their children. That parallel really hit. I thought it was a smart touch. And the way she was farming aura in every scene was fire. Like seriously, she gave off power, presence, cool factor, all at once. My final take on the characters, they absolutely nailed the casting and the script. Everything felt well done. Each character elevated the others. Change.
So, how exactly can this movie change and save the MCU? Well, after phases 4 and 5 of the MCU were widely criticized for excessive productions, rushed visual effects, disconnected storylines, Fantastic Four: First Steps comes in as the most promising turning point for Marvel in recent years, bringing the return to the essence of superhero films. Unlike the recent films, which tried to innovate too much or rely on the multiverse as a crutch, First Steps goes back to basics. A team of heroes with amazing powers, real personal conflicts, and strong emotional ties. And I'm going to give you 6 points that Fantastic Four will make to change everything. Understand why we need to look at where Marvel is now and where it can go from this film. First, the central narrative focus. Phase 5 lost its way trying to introduce dozens of disconnected heroes like Ms. Marvel, Moon Knight, Echo, Secret Invasion, but none of them connect emotionally or narratively. Now, the Fantastic Four come in as a cohesive unit from the start. They're a family with real bonds, with a common purpose, something we haven't seen since the Avengers in the Infinity Saga. Second point, the tone and visual style. The most common critique of Phase 5 is that everything looks the same. The effects, the settings, the direction, everything feels rushed, soulless. But Fantastic Four comes with an original retro-futuristic visual proposal, full of soul, inspired by Jack Kirby with a 60s aesthetic and directed by Matt Shakman. The vibe is almost A24, but within the Marvel universe. It's different from everything we've seen so far. Third point, the multiverse finally makes sense. Until now, the multiverse seemed like just an excuse for chaos. Loki, What If, Quantumania, all of them seemed to promise a lot but delivered very little. But now, with Earth 828 as the main stage, the multiverse becomes a tool to discuss destiny, sacrifice, and legacy. With the arrival of Franklin Richards, an Omega-level mutant, the multiverse can literally be rewritten. Fourth point, characters with real emotional depth. In Phase 5, characters like America Chavez and Cassie Lang were thrown onto the screen without enough development. With Fantastic Four, things change. We're going to dive deep into the relationships between Reed and Sue, the bond between Johnny and Ben, their internal conflicts, traumas, and tough choices. Connection with the audience will be much stronger. The level of depth is on a whole nother level. Fifth point, science with philosophical weight. Reed Richards isn't just the brain of the team. He's a scientist who questions everything: ethics, destiny, the real consequences of decisions. He brings a rational, almost cold approach, which contrasts totally with the impulsivity of the heroes from Phase 5. That changes the dynamic of everything. Sixth point, the villains. Let's be real for a second. Kang had a messy introduction. The High Evolutionary and Darbin were forgettable. But now things are getting serious. We're talking about the possible arrival of Victor Von Doom, Dr. Doom himself, and maybe even the return of Galactus. Villains with presence, with weight, with threats that actually shake the entire universe. Fantastic Four isn't just another reboot. It's Marvel's chance to reclaim what it does best, to start afresh, with depth, direction, emotion, and purpose. And if all of this plays out, this film will be the turning point between the MCU's downfall and its rise. Now, tell me, are you also hyped for this or still a little skeptical? Drop a comment below, and if you liked the video, you know the drill. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.